Welcome to the world of biology through Jaguar classes from Jagran Public School, Noida. Today we are continuing with the chapter 4. In this part 3rd of this chapter, we will focus on characteristic feature of the two non-chordates phylum Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Side by side, we will recapitulate the previous phylum characteristic feature that we have taken as Porifera and the chart which is indicating us the several phyla into which the whole animal kingdom is divided, and here we are recapitulate the chart with the help of which we will be able to understand the major non-chordates phyla into which the animal kingdom this group has been divided. In today's class again we will focus on the salient features of the non-chordates once again, and characteristic feature of phylum Porifera we will recapitulate, and phylum Cnidaria and phylum Ctenophora. Platyhelminthes and phylum Asahelminthes we will take in next part, and side by side we will practice to recall our knowledge of the animal kingdom as a whole that we have already studied in class 9th with the help of a jungle safari and some quiz questions on that general characteristic feature on the basis of which we can divide the animal kingdom into different groups. Now, after today's class, we are expecting the learning outcomes in category of knowledge based learning outcomes. You will be able to recall and know about the basic knowledge of classification of animal kingdom as well as definition of chordates and non-chordates. Under skill based learning outcomes, you will be able to practice your listening skills to differentiate between phylum Porifera, Cnidaria and Ctenophora of the animal kingdom. And you will be also able to critically analyze the importance of basis of classification of animal kingdom into chordates and non-chordates and different phyla, competencies that you will able to achieve after perfect learning or after the learning in today's chapter or today's part, chapter 4, collaborative learning, critical thinking and problem solving communication and analytical skills. These are the basic competencies that you will be able to develop. Now let's start with our today's class. Today's class. In today's class, we will continue with the classification of non-chordates. In earlier class, we have discussed the characteristic feature of non-chordate group, that is phylum Protozoa and phylum Porifera we have taken. And in today's class, we will focus on phylum Cnidaria and phylum Ctenophora. Before going to discuss in detail about these two non-chordates phyla, we will have a recapitulation of the chart in which we have seen the different phyla of the non-chordates. Once again, have a quick recap of this chart that we have taken in earlier class also. As you know that Animalia kingdom is divided into chordates and non-chordates on the basis of notochord, and in this session we are talking about non-chordates phyla, and out of these non-chordates phyla, Porifera we have taken in previous class. Today we and Protozoa, which is not the part of this uh, five kingdom system. According to two kingdom system, it is belonging to animal kingdom, but we have taken that also in Protista. Now today we will focus on next two phyla, Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Rest of the other phylums, Platyhelminthes, Asahelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca and Echinodermata, we will take in next classes. Now come to know about. Again, have a quick recapitulation of all the salient features of non-chordates as we have discussed. Notochord is absent in all phases of their life cycle. Gill slits are also absent. Nervous system is ventral. Heart is dorsal. Most often, an exoskeleton is present. Animals are cellular, diploblastic, or triploblastic. Circulatory system is either open, closed, or absent. Reproduction takes place by both asexual and sexual methods. Larval stages are seen. Asexual reproduction takes place by regeneration and budding, and non chordates are all cold blooded animals. These are the recapitulation, or we can say that these are the basic characteristic feature of all the non chordates. Now, today, when we are talking about the Cnidaria and Ctenophora phylum, then we have to recapitulate that all the general characteristic feature are present in them also. Now come to the next. Yes, this is the slide in which we are talking about the important characteristic feature of the Cnidarians or Coelenterata. On the basis of germinal layers, they are diploblastic animals having an outer epidermis with nematoblast or nidoblast cells. Nematoblast or nidoblasts are also called as stinging cells because they inject hyponotoxin into the prey, which is a type of toxic substance in their defense system to protect them against the enemies. They are using that trick, and due to this is known as Cnidaria phylum. They have a radial symmetry on the basis of symmetry. Body lacks a true cavity or coelom. However, it has a central gastrovascular cavity which is known as coelentron, on the basis of which the name is given as coelenterata. They have only one opening called mouth or hypostome, which is surrounded by short and slender tentacles. And some cnidarians, such as corals that you can see here in this chart, multicolored corals, have an exoskeleton composed of calcium carbonate. They show two types of body forms. One is known as sessile or polyp, and free swimming or known as medusa. Both show metagenesis, alternation of generation. That I am repeating this phylum for that purpose only, because uh, some of the students have inquired about that. Polyp and medusa. Polyp and medusa are the two forms in which that particular phylum is showing its life cycle or completing its life cycle. Sessile, or we can say that a polyp is a form which is sessile or which is uh, stick to the substratum and non-motile form, and free swimming form is known as medusa, and both show metagenesis. Metagenesis means alternation of generation. In their whole life cycle, one time polyp form will be there, then next time the organism show the free swimming medusa form. In that way, alternatively, they are showing these two forms, polyp and medusa. Reproduction is asexual by budding, which, in case of polyp, and sexually reproducing form is medusa by ova and sperms. Examples are corals, hydra, and sea anemone. All these are belonging to this phylum. Now, in detailed classification, the Cnidaria phylum or Coelenterata is further divided into three classes: Hydrozoa, in which Hydra and Phycelia are coming. They are mostly marine organisms with a few freshwater organisms. Both polyp and medusa are well developed in this class. Cyphozoa, all are the marine forms with a prominent medusa stage and a reduced or absent polyp stage. That means in this class that polyp form is absent, only in medusa form or medusa stage these are found. Example is Aurelia or jellyfish belonging to this class of the Cnidaria or Coelenterata. Anthozoa. Anthozoa all are marine forms with a prominent uh, polyp stage, and they are medusa stage. In them medusa stage is absent. Example, sea anemone and corals are belonging to this type of class or this class of the Cnidaria or Coelenterata Anthozoa. Now this slide shows us the characteristic feature of phylum Ctenophora, which is the third phylum of the non-chordate group of Animalia kingdom. First phylum we have seen as Porifera, second phylum we have seen as Coelenterata, and this is the third phylum Ctenophora. Ctenophorians, they exhibit tissue level of organization. Animals are diploblastic and acoelomate, which lack a true body cavity, and diploblastic, as we have already studied, uh, the animals with two germinal layers, endoderm and ectoderm. No mesoderm layer is present in their embryonic development. These animals are generally marine with a radial symmetry. As you know that they are spherical in shape, that means they are showing radial symmetry, and their body shows a pair of long retractile tentacles that you can see in this particular representative of this phylum known as pleurobrachia. These are the tentacles about which we are talking about in this characteristic. Tentacles with adhesive called coloblast. And bioluminescence is a peculiar characteristic seen in these animals. What is bioluminescence? Means emission of light, or they are light emitting during the night time, due to which in the underwater sea you can see so many attractive world of different color light is present there. And reproduction is sexual in these animals. Animals are hermaphrodite, means both the reproductive parts, male and female, are present in the same animal. Fertilization is external. Larval forms are called sedipted larvae, and the cilia are closely placed and arranged in plates called comb rows, or that's why they are also known as commonly comb jellies or sea walnuts. Example are Tenoplana, Pleurobrachia, which is also known as commonly sea gooseberry, and Cestrum. About Platyhelminthes we will talk in later class. Now, with the help of some presentation, we will come to know about the Cnidaria phylum in. Now, with the help of this presentation, you will be able to see the characteristic feature of Cnidarians, and that you can understand well through this
Cnidaria. Most animals have a skeleton that provides their body with form and structure, while also offering protection to their internal organs. Such organisms are known as vertebrates. But there are some animals, such as the earthworm and cockroach, that have no skeleton, and we call these invertebrates. This classification includes a variety of organisms, including amoeba and paramecium. In this session, we look at the phylum Cnidaria, which falls under the classification of invertebrates. Originally, these sac-like animals were included in the phylum Coelenterata. Cnidarians are multicellular animals that can be found in seas and lakes. We can study their general characteristics by looking at the hydra as our example. Hydra's body is cylindrical, with one end that is able to attach itself to a rock and a free end which has 6 slender tube-like tentacles. In the center of the tentacles, we'll find a small circular mouth. The tentacles help in capturing the food and delivering it to the mouth. The body is composed of a two-layered wall which encloses the hollow gastrovascular cavity. Food is digested inside this cavity, and undigested waste will then be expelled through the mouth. Hydra is able to move with the help of its tentacles. Cnidarian reproduction includes portions that are sexual as well as asexual. In this multicellular organism, budding is the mode of asexual reproduction. A group of cells will bulge out as a bud that will later separate from the parent. Sexual reproduction will occur with the union of sperm and egg. Examples of cnidaria include sea anemones, jellyfish, and corals. Summary: animals without a bony skeleton inside their bodies are known as invertebrates. Cnidarians are sedentary and have a two-layered body wall surrounding a hollow cavity. Cnidarians reproduce through asexual and sexual modes.
Now, with this presentation, I think the characteristic feature of cnidarians are clear to you, and cnidarians are also known as coelentrates. That is also clear to you. Now, there is one interactivity on the basis of which you can see that how much you have understood about the characteristic feature of Cnidaria phylum or Coelentrata phylum. Let's have this activity. Here we have the general characteristic feature of the phylum is given. We have to uh, fix the right characteristic feature here. Found only in rivers. Is it clear? If we will try to fix this characteristic feature in the is it
Try
correct?
again.
No. That means these are not found in rivers, or these are basically marine water creatures or marine water animals. Are they multicellular organism? Yes, they are multicellular organism. On the basis of this, we are fixing
Try
this.
again.
No, this is also not coming in that way. That means this is Hydra consists of single layered body wall. Now
Try again.
that is also not coming in this. Now
Excellent.
yes, that means this characteristic feature that we have fixed here reproduce through asexual and sexual modes that get fit here, means that is one of the important characteristic feature. Now come to this characteristic feature. Cnidarians are invertebrates. Yes, that should be also
Excellent.
yes. Now undigested body or undigested food is expelled out through mouth in Hydra. Is it correct? Yes, we can say that. This we can put here.
Excellent.
Tentacles of Hydra helps in locomotion. Yes, just now we have read about it. That means this also.
Excellent.
Now, what about these three characteristic features? Are they not true for the cnidarians? Multicellular organisms found only in rivers. Hydra consists of single layered body wall. These we are not able to fix here. That means
Try again.
these three characteristic feature that we are not able to put here. That means these are not the characteristics belonging to that one, or we can say that not true in that case. Okay. Now with that, in today's class we have shared the characteristic feature of Cnidaria and Ctenophora. And about Ctenophora, here is Platyhelminthes. We are not talking about the Platyhelminthes here. Let's have a one look on the slides first, then we will talk about the Platyhelminthes characteristic feature in later on classes. Now in next class we will talk about the Platyhelminthes group and Asaliminthes group. For today's class we will take only that characteristic feature, and now I am coming to the one short video which is Here you can see that overall classification of the animal kingdom. For this, we are moving to our class 9th recapitulation. And here we will talk about the kingdom Animalia. For this, we will move to a jungle safari and come.
Welcome to the Wildlife Safari. Today we're going to explore different natural habitats and see some of the life forms there. So, sit back and enjoy the ride. The forests are teeming with life. Let's get a closer look. Oh look, there's a langur. You'll find this species in forests across India and even near human habitations. Do you see that snake? Don't get too close. It's venomous. The pit viper tracks down its prey using heat vision. The pit between its nostrils helps the snake sense the body heat of its prey. You'll also see many species of resident and migratory birds in sanctuaries and other natural habitats across India. Now, let's move on and explore the dry desert. It may look parched and barren, but there's a lot of life there. Plants that grow in the desert often contain toxic chemical compounds. That's their strategy to discourage grazing animals. Some desert creatures you can spot easily, and others not so easy to spot. Let's leave the desert now and see how different life is in and around water. Water lilies grow in ponds or lakes. The upper surface of the leaves have a waxy coating that repels water. Look out! The crocodile is a larger and more mobile carnivore that's mostly found in freshwater habitats. Besides these, there's a much larger world of microscopic creatures too. We've just had a glimpse of the immense diversity of life on our planet. Now, think about these questions. How do these life forms differ from each other? What do these different life forms have in common? On what basis can we group these diverse and different life forms?
These are the basic questions for the answer of which we are talking about in this chapter or in this unit, diversity of the living world, and in chapter that we have taken in 11th standard, that is Animalia Kingdom. And I think now with the help of this video you will be able to understand about our diverse world and some of the important classification about the animals that we have completed. Let's check that our knowledge, how much we will know now. Till now we are knowing about the animal kingdom classification.
Hey there! Let's have some fun with this animal quiz.
Yes, in this quiz, we attempt these
Which
questions.
phylum does this little creature belong to?
This belongs to
Select the correct option and click submit.
Platyhelminthes, and due to some error it is showing that, but we have correctly submit as Platyhelminthes, and here it is showing
Right.
Nematode.
Flatworms belong to the phylum Platyhelminthes. This group also includes planarians and liver flukes.
Technically this answer is written wrong here, but in previous in which I was tapping, that was the Platyhelminthes. That's why answer is Platyhelminthes for this. This is the creature flatworm or planaria.
Which phylum does this creature belong to?
I think now we have clearly seen this is sponge-like animal which belongs to Porifera, and
Right. Poriferans or sponges are aquatic animals with porous bodies, few tissues and no organs.
now come to the third question.
Now, which of these creatures is a mollusk?
I think that snail is the looking like mollusk, and we can submit.
Right. The snail belongs to the phylum Mollusca. Look closely. Which of these is a protochordate?
Protochordate. Protochordate means the animals between non-chordates and chordates, and I think Amphioxus is coming in this. Let's check our
Right.
answer.
Amphioxus is a protochordate. Which phylum does this roundworm belong to?
These belong to Nematoda phylum, or
Right. This roundworm belongs to the phylum Nematoda.
now come to the next question.
Which one of these animals does not belong to phylum Coelenterata?
Just now we have completed in today's class about Coelenterata. I think that should be clear. Jellyfish is belonging to Coelenterata. Sea anemone is also belonging to, and I think octopus will be the correct answer.
Right. The octopus is a mollusk, while the jellyfish and the sea anemone belong to the phylum Coelenterata. Which phylum does this snake belong to?
Snake belongs to Chordata phylum.
Right. The snake has a spinal cord and belongs to the phylum Chordata.
Now come to the next question.
Do you know what phylum this creature belongs to?
This is looking like leech, means that belongs to Annelida. Submit.
Right. These blood-sucking leeches belong to phylum Annelida.
Now come to our 10th question.
Do you know which phylum this creature belongs to?
This is spider, belongs to Arthropoda.
Right. Spiders belong to the phylum Arthropoda, the largest group of animals on Earth. It includes butterflies and scorpions.
Now with that, we have gone through some of the interesting questions on this, and I think today's class, in this we have focused about